Good evening and welcome to the Ysleta Independent School District's meeting of the Board of Trustees. We are happy that you've taken the time to join us and invite you to take an opportunity to share your questions and comments with the board via the public comment portion of our meetings. Rules for participating in public comment portion are available at the sign-up table. In the interest of hearing all opinions, individuals wishing to speak are limited to 3 minutes. And if you're part of a group, we would ask that you would select a spokesperson to speak. We would like to remind everyone that this is a board meeting often attended by students and ask that we all conduct ourselves in a manner that at best represents the values and traditions of the Ysleta Independent School District. Please turn off or silence all cell phones, tablets, and other electronic devices. Thank you for your attendance. The June 13th board meeting is called to order at 6:01 p.m. We have a quorum with Mr. Rosales, Mr. Ramirez, Mr. Pearson, Mrs. McLean, Ms. Duenas, and myself, Connie Woodruff. Mr. Haggerty should be en route. Secretary Duenas, will you please lead us in the pledges and a moment of silence?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, one God, and indivisible. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated.
Secretary Duenas, do we have requests for citizen input?
Yes, we do. Anthony Johnson. Subject: in support of Dr. Hansen.
I just wanted to take a moment to share with everyone that earlier today the grievant contacted our office and indicated that he would not be present and that he'd like a postponement. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yes.
Good evening. I'm Anthony Johnson, the father of Christian Johnson, who recently is a graduate 2016. You're aware of him. I have a sophomore young lady by the name of Destiny Johnson. But Dr. Delatorre and your staff, the board, we really appreciate this time to come and speak to you all on behalf of Parkland High School. We're so excited of the new direction, purpose, and motivation that Dr. Henson and his staff has brought to Northeast El Paso. I'm a veteran. I've been here in El Paso since 1995. I graduated from the Sergeant Major's Academy. And fortunately, I married a wonderful Parkland alumni, Tammy Johnson. Her parents are here represented tonight. But the leadership decision that you all made on behalf of the football team, I like to applaud you all, and I thank you so much for that direction. My son, Christian Johnson, didn't get the opportunity to see the changes here in 10 months that Dr. Henson and Coach Kirkland has brought to the Parkland family. And many people will address that tonight, but I want to address the girls' basketball program, if I may. From a military perspective, again, as I stated, I'm a veteran, and as a former leader in the Sergeant Major, once being over 300 to 400 soldiers, leadership is imperative, that you make the right decisions, that you provide direction, purpose, and motivation to the soldiers. So if I flip that in the area of girls basketball, many of these young ladies, their vehicle in life is basketball, whatever sport, but specifically basketball. Of course, we put a lot of emphasis on academics, but many of these young people from the Northeast, they're looking as their vehicle in life is through basketball and through scholarships. So in the military, we put those individuals in leadership positions. If we don't make the right decision, then we can sustain casualties. So in the basketball, if I can relate that, in the basketball arena, we're losing. We don't make the right decision tonight and moving in the right direction of the girls' basketball leadership or program, we're going to have casualties in the girls' basketball, in the young ladies, because you're going to kill dreams. These young ladies are screaming. They're screaming for leadership. They want boundaries. As young teenagers, as a young teenager, my wife and I reared up 3 children, got 1 left. They're screaming for leadership. They're screaming for these boundaries. So I'm asking you, as a former soldier, don't leave these soldiers, these young ladies, on the battlefield. Thank you very much. Again, thank you.
Next person is Tammy Johnson in support of Dr. Hanson, Parkland High School.
Good evening. I thank all of you for allowing us this opportunity to speak before you. I too am here in support of Dr. Henson and the changes that he has made at Parkland. It's very unfortunate that the grievant contacted you to change this meeting because, as you can see, we have quite a few people here in support of Dr. Henson. I also want to bring it to your attention that some of these young ladies out here left what's known as an open gym that's not UIL regulated, that they were informed that this meeting was postponed by a leadership of the girls' basketball program, which for me is troublesome because now you're using your position of authority and intimidation by telling these young ladies that left early because they're with their parents that they will pay back for leaving a non-regulated UIL function. So that being said, I think that was the most important thing to say. But with Dr. Henson, I want to say the positive changes that he's made has been tremendous. I am an alumni of Parkland High School. I played basketball under the leadership of Lawrence Manley, who I think is the best person, not just a coach, but the best person that I still today apply my life to the things that he taught me. I want that same thing for my child. I want her to have someone in a leadership program position that she can look up to when she's 52 years old and say, my coach told me this, and still apply it to her life. Dr. Henson, I have seen him in the 10 months at Parkland High School and at different events more than I've seen any principal in the past 16 years. As my husband said, we have 3 graduates from Parkland High School. I've lived in the Ysleta district area all my life. That's all I know. And Parkland High School is my school, and I take great pride in it. And I was excited to see my son's senior year through Dr. Henson's leadership, that pride come back. I've never gone to a tailgate party. I've never gone to a state of Parkland High School. I've never gone to an all-sports banquet. I've never gone to the numerous pep rallies that we had. All of that is because of the leadership of Dr. Henson. You see these students out here, they attend every sporting event, a student section. We never had that type of leadership at Parkland. My area of concern is the leadership of the girls' basketball program. Like I said, I want my daughter to have a leader that she can look up to. Unfortunately, our JV basketball team went 4-21 this year. We had no development. None of the girls that play on Parkland girls basketball, past and present, have gotten opportunity for college.
Thank you.
Do you want to give him more time? Cassie Parr, in support of Dr. Hanson, Parkland High School subject.
Good evening, Dr. Delatorre and board members. Thank you for hearing our input. My name's Casey Parr, and I have two young ladies that go to high school at Parkland. Cameron, she's going to be a senior this year, and Caitlin, freshman, she's going to be a sophomore this coming year. They both play basketball, though the oldest has been in 3 different sports the past 3 years, cross country, softball, and basketball. And also here in support of Dr. Henson and the great things that he's been doing, as well as his new staff with Coach Kirkland. And I do applaud you guys for withholding that decision in the previous meeting. I want to go ahead and continue on where Ms. Johnson was talking about the girls and some of the concerns that we have with scholarships. As far as I could tell and what we've researched, that there hasn't been any girls since the last time that they went to district in 1 district in 2006 that has signed 1 scholarship under this leadership, this past leadership, possible past leadership, and that's almost in 10 years. And there's been a lot of talent that's came and gone through this school. We got some this year. Every year since I've been, this is going on my 4th year that I've been around it, every single year there's been talent on that team that kind of just went to the wayside. Nobody was looking out for them, trying to talk to other college coaches or anything, or to even support them academically if they were advancing there. There's developing talent. It's just not happening, coming up. Like Tammy said, that the JV team was 4-20-something this year. They don't have announced tryouts. They'll put it out 2 days before, and then it's just politics amongst the kids. So if you're a senior or returning varsity, you're over here. If you're a freshman, you're over here. And anybody else in between, and that's the way that the practices go and the way the selections go. And when my oldest was there coming up from 8th grade, she was playing at the varsity level already. She was leading a team that had a lot of these girls on it from Parkland, even the returning varsity. And when that school year started, she was told that no, she's going to be down staying on freshman. She didn't have an opportunity. And, I had a problem with that because academically it would never happen. And it was happening with athletics. And I got a little one that's coming up, and there's a bunch of other kids that we would like to retain. And those numbers are up. Enrollment numbers are up this year from last year at Parkland, and we'd like to see that continue. Thank you.
Next person is Jesse Morgan, Parkland basketball.
Good evening. I'm Jesse Morgan. I have a sophomore daughter that goes to Parkland High School. She's going to be a junior next year. And I have a lot of concerns about her future. We have a problem with leadership. The program that we went through before, I had a lot of communication problems. I'm very direct. I like to come to you, ask you, what is it that I can do to help my daughter get to the next level, get to the next grade, get wherever she needs to go in life. And there was an occasion where this past year, the season started. First Saturday, there were no coaches, varsity coaches at practice. Okay, I asked my daughter how'd it go. She told me there were no coaches there. I was like, okay. All right. Next Saturday, went with her, asked her the same thing. How'd it go? There's no coaches there, no varsity coaches. There was a JV coach working with her JV team, varsity was pretty much practicing themselves at the start of the season. I played basketball all my life. I give it to those girls for showing up on Saturday and practicing themselves. Following day, Sunday, text the coach, asked him, can you give me a reason why there was no varsity coach at practice? I was told that because of another program, football, they wouldn't be able to be there until that program finished. I had a problem with that. To me, if you're in charge of this and you're just an assistant over here, this should be your main focus. If you say that you care for these children as much as you do, then I think that this should be your main focus. I asked him, well, can we get together to talk about this a little bit more? I was told that wasn't possible. I asked, don't you have a study period? Yes, but I'm busy. Hey, I took that pretty hard. Talked to my wife about it, went home. She told me to call, the new principal. Didn't know anything about him. Called him, he had me come in, and he fixed the problem right away. I'm from the Northeast. I went to Urban High School in '95, and I have never had that happen to me before. He came in, brought me in, told me that he will fix the problem. He's very sorry. I got everything I needed from the principal, Dr. Henson. Last, let me jump on the Dr. Henson bandwagon. Great job. Great job. I mean, you're going to hear that all night. Great job with him. Great job with his coaching staff. Parkland, I love it. I wish I went to Parkland. Thank you.
Thank you. Claudia Acosta, Parkland girls basketball subject.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time. Let's start there. I'd also want to thank you in advance, and from here on out, thank you for bringing Dr. Henson to our community. Not only has he demonstrated integrity, he has set an example of character for our players and for our children at Parkland. He has demonstrated dedication and love not only for the kids, but for our community. And for that, we are all very thankful. On the topic of the girls' basketball, I come to you because I have a little girl, that she loves this sport more than you can ever imagine. She is playing for this program because of the love that she has for this. I believe that my daughter has talent. Every parent wants to think that. But my daughter puts in the work outside of Parkland. We pay a lot of money and a lot of time for her to be able to reach her dream. Her dream is to play college basketball. Unfortunately, due to this program that she's been under, she hasn't had that. She hasn't had that opportunity. She hasn't been given the tools to play at the next level. Unfortunately, there is not the direction or the leadership or the dedication to these girls that they deserve to be able to play at the next level. All of these girls love to play. They come every day at 6 o'clock in the morning to practice and still stay after school, shooting around, whatever the case may be. But there isn't a leader to tell them, you can do it. We believe in you. Let me call a college coach. Let me get you seen. Let's see what we can do for you. There isn't that at Parkland right now. Under Dr. Henson, he is giving them that hope. He is giving them that aspiration to play college basketball, to go to college, to be successful as human beings and as adults. And that is the only reason why my daughter continues to play basketball for Parkland. Under this leadership, there is no room for growth because he or the coach or the coaching staff is not willing to learn the game of basketball. They're not willing to evolve with these children that evolve every year. Basketball changes. Everybody's job changes. We need to evolve. They also need to evolve with the kids. They have to give them a fighting chance. I understand that this coaching staff has been in place for a long time. But now I am asking each and every one of you not to think of the past, but to think of the future. And every single one of these kids that wants to play basketball, give them a fighting chance. Allow them to have a fighting chance to be winners to be part of something bigger than just a team that makes it to playoffs and gets kicked out the first round. Give them that opportunity. And there's a lot of people here today that aren't going to get to speak. But I want you to watch them stand in support of Dr. Henson. If everybody could stand. All of these people are here in support of the change. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person is Tyrone McGuffey, Parkland Girls Basketball.
All right. Thank you for letting me be here to speak tonight. Thank you, Dr. Delatorre. Thank you, President Mr. Haggerty, and thank you, rest of the distinguished board. The name is Tyrone McDuffie.
I'm sorry.
But don't feel bad. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
I'll put it out there. I'm in total support of Dr. Henson and what he's doing here. Dr. Henson has a passion about what he's doing here in this community. He has a certain type of enthusiasm with what he does. And if people don't understand what enthusiasm means, it means to do things as if you are inspired by something greater than yourself to do that. And that's what he's doing here for the school and for these girls. When I became a leader in the military, I had an NCO teach me and pull me to the side and said, always give clear instructions and directions about what you want done. After you do that, give the people all the tools they need to get that job done. Then you follow up and see if they could have did it better. What else did they need to improve the process? So I come to the board and say, don't give us a great leader like Dr. Henson, but then don't give him all the tools to do what he needs to build something great at Parkland. That makes no sense to me. So just like you put him in this school to give our children the best, then allow him to put the best people in front of our children, because we all deserve that as parents here in this school district. And it's not just about the basketball coach, the football coach, or whatever it is. I want the best teacher. I want the best counselor. I want the best janitor in that school. And if Dr. Henson's gonna make sure that happens, then every time he has an issue and he needs our support, we're gonna be here to back him. Now, the biggest issue I always seen with the girls' basketball team is the leadership and organization. I don't understand when I go watch the varsity girls play and they play a certain way, the JV don't play the same way. The freshmen don't play the same way. If you're building a system, then all the girls in that system should be able to do the same thing. Because if they can't, you can't put the next piece in. You can't have the next young lady step up because they haven't been prepared for it. And isn't that what we're here to do as parents, a school board, teachers, administration, is prepare our students, young men and young ladies for success? Then we got to start preparing them right now while we have them in our hands and not send them out there without the tools they need to be successful. Now, all I want to say is that I'm in full support of Dr. Henson, the new athletic director, and the direction they're taking Parkland in. And I hope you are all in full support of Dr. Henson because y'all gave him this responsibility. So support him in completing his mission. Thank you.
Next person is Etna Enriquez in support of Dr. Hanson.
Good evening, Dr. Xavier de la Torre and board members. I'm here today on behalf of Dr. Henson, supporting him. This year, my daughter was a freshman, and she's been playing AAU, playing basketball since 8 years old. So she hits her freshman year, and she was so excited about starting the program, but she was told she was not allowed to try out any upper level, either JV or varsity. She got very discouraged about it. I asked why, and she's like, they just told me we're not allowed to try out. It was several girls that have played before, City League. They were very discouraged about it, and we had girls playing JV with no experience, varsity girls with no experience, and I wasn't asking for her to play varsity, but at least JV, trying something, for Parkland, do something for Parkland, but obviously that didn't happen. There was another issue that there was a favorite players at the team. They were allowed to be in late in the practices. They would get there in the morning with their bags of breakfast, and they were actually the leaderships were asking, "Where were you?" with attitude, answering back, but yet they were allowed to start that game with those first 5 girls, and I don't understand why there was no consequences to that. Another thing was my daughter was in an incident at Hanks High School. I was not there, unfortunately. This parent from Hanks got in my daughter's face after the game. There was no girls basketball leadership around, so she had to deal with the parent yelling back and forth. I had to email Dr. Henson, and thank you so much. He took care of it right away. He apologized, and he said, "I'm going to get to the bottom of it." Sure, he did. They contact both players, and they make the decisions to sit them down for the first 5 minutes, which it's okay, but I'm glad he took care of it. He apologized again. I never heard no apologize from the leadership at all. I never heard nothing from them. I was very scared because even the cops were involved in this situation. And my daughter was very scared about that. Imagine an adult on my daughter's face. We're talking about a freshman, 15-year-old. And me not being around, he took care of it, and I really appreciate that. I really hope that we get a better chance to get better leadership. These girls need better skills. They need to play in a better level than what they are right now. Thank you.
President Haggerty, that's all.
Thank you. A level 3 grievance for Anthony Jameson has been postponed until further notice at the request of his attorney. Using electronic and verbal voting, may I please have a motion on the revised order of the agenda? We have a mover and a second. Oh, I guess I was supposed to. I move to approve the minutes for the regular meeting, June 1st, 2016. I move to approve the revised order of the June 13th agenda. Ms. Duenas? Motion passes 7-0. It timed out.
I didn't cast my vote.
It timed out. Okay, let's go ahead and revote. There we go. Motion passes 7-0. Under approval of the minutes, using your electronic hand for discussion, is there discussion on the minutes for the regular meeting, June 1st, 2016 at 6 p.m. and the workshop, May 31st, 2016 at 6 p.m.? And if there is no discussion, may I have a verbal and electronic motion on the minutes?
Mr. President, I move to approve the minutes for the regular meeting, June 1st, 2016, 6 p.m., and the workshop, May 31st, 2016, 6 p.m.
Thank you. Motion passes 7-0. Under consent, okay. Consent item number 1, consider and take possible action to approve monthly financial statements as identified in a separate index, including quarterly investment reports as of April 30th, 2016. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead and hit your button.
Do I?
Just hit
Go
your
ahead.
button.
Oh, Okay. On the benefits, we have no problem, right, Ms. Lieber, on that?
Problem
No, do we have a problem on that? It's been paid and everything?
on the benefits?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I do have a little problem on that. Due to the fact that last year around this time, we had discontinued Mr. McGrough's contract. And he is still, we were supposed to get a new consultant. What happened there?
I don't know if that's part of the, all we're doing is just the financial statements. We'd have to bring that up under something different.
Okay. Well, just so that you all know about that. Anyway, I also want to say that I have checked on this on the district's payment, and it has been paid on time. So I think that's about it.
Is there any further discussion? If no further discussion, may I please have a motion on consent item number 1?
Mr. President, I move to approve the monthly financial statements as identified and a separate index including quarterly investment reports as of April 30th, 2016.
All those in favor? Motion passes 7-0. Consent item number 2, consider and take possible action to approve an increase in the amount of $10,800 for YISD solicitation 213047 RFQ-RB professional services for projects of limited scope rebid, changing the original not to exceed $50,000 project amount to $60,800 for the energy savings performance contract project third-party review from various district funds. Mrs. McLean, you have discussion.
I just would like some additional information with regard to this item.
So basically what this is ABM, the company that we hired to do the utility assessment report. Once they submit that report, a neutral third party is required to review the report and arrive at the same conclusion that ABM does relative to the potential savings that the energy management, energy savings performance contract will guarantee the district. We assumed that that third party would cost less than $50,000. The lowest, I think, proposal was the $60,800, so we need to come back to the board and get your permission to exceed the $50,000 threshold.
And this is for the review?
This is for the third-party review of ABM's work.
Mrs. Woodruff?
I also have a question about that. It looked like it said that the project was going to be $360,000. Is that, and then I'm confused, I guess. Can we explain how much? No. I can tell by your face, I've confused you too. So at the beginning of the RFQ, I believe it said something about $360,000. And then, but then this says that it's going to be $60,800. So I'm just a little confused about the amount.
All right, so initially when we bid this out, the solicitation, generally their services are included because there's the opportunity for them to provide the improvements towards the end. Not sure where that $360,000 is coming from, but we won't pay them anything other than $104 if we choose not to go forward with their service.
Mr. Haggerty, members of the board, Dr. Delatorre, good evening. So the original solicitation that the board awarded in 2013 was a not-to-exceed annual dollar amount of $360,000. The actual projects themselves may not exceed $50,000. This particular vendor will be charging us $60,000, so we're here to say we'd like to go over by $10,000.
Thank you.
Mrs. Dueñas?
Yes. Is this the same company we already had, or is this another one that?
So on this particular solicitation, there were 12 vendors originally awarded in 2012. Of the 12 vendors, 4 were eligible to be able to provide the third-party review, and of the 4, this was the best quote and the best value for the district.
Are there any further questions?
Well, I guess the question had already been answered. Why was there an increase on it?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
My question was going to be, why was there an increase on it?
It's just that this particular project, to do the third-party review of the original utility assessment report, would cost that much. We thought it would be less than 50, but it turned out to be more.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? If not, may I have a motion on consent item number 2? As soon as it comes up. There we go.
I move to approve an increase in the amount of $10,800 for awarded YISD solicitation number 213047 RFQ/RB professional services for projects of limited scope, rebid, changing the original not to exceed $50,000 project amount to $60,800 for energy savings performance contracting project third-party review from various district funds.
You seconded?
Second.
All those in favor or opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Under action items, action item number 1563, consider and take possible action to approve YISD cooperative requisition with Irwin Seating Company for the purchase and installation of gym bleachers at Del Valle High School in the amount of $74,748 through a purchasing cooperative from bond funds, contingent upon final negotiations and legal counsel review. Is there any discussion? No discussion. May I please have a motion for action item number 1? You just have to read it real quick.
I move to approve YISD cooperative requisition with Urban Seating Company for the purchase and installation of gym bleachers at Del Valle High School in the amount of $74,748 through a purchasing cooperative from bond funds contingent upon final negotiations and legal counsel review.
It was seconded by Mrs. Woodruff. Go ahead and cast your electronic vote. Motion passes 7-0. Item number 2, consider and take possible action to approve YISD cooperative requisition 37407 with AO General Contractors for relocating 8 portables, including providing electrical fire alarm and with skirting, ramps and stairs to Valley View Middle School in the amount of $171,755 through purchasing cooperative from local funds, contingent upon legal counsel review and Form 1295 certificate of interested parties. Is there discussion? No discussion? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Is this school going to be already under construction?
Good evening, Mr. Haggerty, Dr. Delatorre, members of the board. Construction of the school won't start till the following year. We're in the design phase. We're meeting with all the stakeholders. We went through the charrette process. Now we're putting that information into design. But the construction won't actually start till the following year.
So you're expecting a lot more other students is that for the additional portables?
The reason we want to do the additional portables is the 500 hallway has experienced some structural issues. We had an engineer go out and do an assessment, and they recommended for the next school year that we move students out of 5 classrooms in that hallway. So we're going to move them out. In fact, we're going to move all the students out of that hallway, even the rooms that do not show any structural issues at this time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Not, may I please have a motion for action item number 2?
I move to approve YSD Cooperative Requisition Number 37407 with AO General Contractor, Inc. for relocation of 8 portables, including providing electrical, fire alarm, and skirting ramps and stairs to Valley View Middle School in the amount of $171,755 through a purchasing cooperative from local funds, contingent upon legal counsel review and Form 1295 Certificate of Interested Parties.
Mr. Pearson seconded. Go ahead and get everybody to cast their electronic vote. Motion passes 7-0. The Board of Trustees has determined that a closed meeting of the Board of Trustees is required to discuss the items set forth in the posted agenda for this date. Such closed meeting is authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Section 551.001, including but not limited to the sections and purposes covered by the following section of the Texas Government Code: 551.071, 72, 73, 74, 76, 82, 81, 83, and 84. Should any final action, decision, or vote be required with regard to any matter considered in closed session, the final action, decision, or vote shall be in the open meeting or at a subsequent public meeting with notice. The board will now move to the Rio Grande Room for closed session.
No, I didn't get a chance to go today, but I'll try to get. I didn't realize. Okay, cool.
All set? I reconvene in open session at 7:09 PM with the following present: Mr. Rosales, Mr. Ramirez, Mrs. Woodruff, Mr. Pearson, Mrs. McLean, Ms. Duenas, and myself, Shane Haggerty. Your motion to adjourn. We're adjourned at 7:09. Thank you.
Good job, guys.